Sagittarius. How are we doing today? Happy Father's Day to all your dads out there. All right. Welcome to Just on Tarot. If you're new here, welcome in. All right. We're going to be doing your the end of June into July read. All right. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and let's get started. All right. We're going to be asking a question from the Fairy Majesty Oracle. I don't know why I don't have that name memorized by now. All right. What is it Sagittarius needs to know? Dive and reflect. And we have nest on the bottom. So what is it we're ready to take action for with this hawk? We diving into some kind of action. What does standing still reveal? So I feel like this is maybe a balance in between like taking action and standing still, reflecting. So maybe you're taking some kind of action that you need to reflect on, or you've taken some kind of action that you need to reflect on. And then we have nest. Would more tenderness help? And I feel like this is taking a tender approach to whatever action you're taking on. I have an itchy arm. I've been out in the sun all day. Well, good chunk of the day anyways. And what is it you're hoping to reveal when you take a step back and look at those actions? All right, let's see what Tarot's got to tell us. We definitely have the Eight of Cups popping up with the moon. So maybe it's something we're walking away from that no longer serves us. And that moon card, it might be a little scary. It might be very unknown, but I feel like maybe that's a venture that you're taking an action on. And it might take a minute because you got to kind of stand back and reflect on those choices. And maybe this nest card is showing some tenderness to yourself. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. We're going to take it. So it's like taking a step forward with that Page of Wands. The pages are usually messages, but you do have the King of Wands. So it's like whatever inspired action you're wanting to do, you're definitely taking a step. Now, if this King of Wands is different energy, it's like maybe you're dealing with somebody that has a little more passion than what you're ready to take on. Or you're just deep diving into that passion. We have the Page of Cups with the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like that's more like the more creative ideas you have, you kind of step into this divine person that does take that action. And I say creative ideas because I have the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups. And that kind of like enables you to get some work. But with the Two of Wands here and the Five of Cups, it's like, am I really ready to walk away just yet? Type of energy. You know, I'm not really feeling quite confident enough with that Queen of Wands there. I thought I reset these. Apparently I didn't. But you could be out like playing the field or dealing with somebody that's playing the field that comes in quick. They take their action and then maybe they're coming in to apologize and deciding they're willing to work on things. And it's kind of like, do you want to take action or are you going to reflect on the situation? All right, what else do we have for Sag? My beautiful Sagittarius. What else do we have for that? Everything is coming out all at once, guys. We have the Knight of Cups. All right, we're going to put those back in, and we're going to see what comes out. I definitely see the Sun card, but I feel like the Sun card is kind of, I wouldn't say it's on hold. It's more like you've already looked at all the angles and you're ready to step into that sun. We do have the Knight of Cups coming in, though. A lot of people on the board. Tell me about this Nine of Cups, please. And the Lovers. Are you dealing with a love situation? Who? Celebrating, but not really knowing if it's time with that Four of Wands and that Wheel of Fortune in reverse over here. Or you might think it's time. Definitely feeling out of balance at the moment. So I feel like this action is passionate. Maybe you're wanting to get out there. Maybe you're wanting to find a new love connection. You're wanting to fix a love connection. That's kind of up for debate for whoever it is. Okay. You know, you're kind of hoping for some kind of an apology and the ability to work through something. But there might be somebody coming in, but I feel like it's kind of like a game of chess. And you need to make a serious choice about what you're wanting to do. And all of it is about whether or not you're going to take action or you're going to reflect on the situation. That's up for you to decide. I feel like right now, maybe that tenderness is something that you need to show for yourself. What else do we have going on? We have Six of Swords. It's like that calm after the storm. And the Five of Pentacles. So if you've been dealing with some kind of painful ending, I feel like it's time to start to take action to move forward with that Fool card. So if you're dealing with somebody that's kind of in and out energy, so they show up as the King of Wands, but really they're the Page of Wands. Like their drive and their ambition is there, but their words don't match their energy. You know, they come in with love offers, or I feel like gaslighting, and they want to work on things, but it's kind of like a game to them. I guess it's just really a decision on where you want to go. You know, do you want to get past whatever emotional turmoil this causes you and move into your own peace and kind of walk away from what's not making you feel stable at the moment? And I feel like that just depends on your own inner strength, really. And this could be like you getting over some kind of breakup and deciding that it is time for some action. I feel like this turned into a love read. And I wasn't aiming for it. All right, so we have the Hangman with the Queen of Cups. And I feel like that's the universe telling you to take a different perspective where who you let in and maybe being how you be open to love. We have the Magician coming out with thank you. That Queen of Wands in reverse again. It's like, are you really manifesting confidence right now? Are you really creating your own confidence? Or like, you know, are you communicating with the people that really align with your soul? You know, are they giving you the time, effort, or energy? Or do you feel like they're just moving too slow type of energy? And it definitely, I feel like it's making you a little unconfident and unaware of situations. I feel like this might be more for specific people, not everybody in general. You know, I feel like you need to have more discernment when it comes to some kind of situation because it needs to be balanced with that Justice card. So I guess the debate is whether or not you're going to dive into action or you're going to reflect on what it is that you really, really want, you know, because I'm not really feeling like you want the Page of Wands type of energy. You want something more solid, but it's really up to you. All right, let's get you some Feral oracles. You know, if this was more career, I would say that, you know, whatever spark or creative idea you're getting, like, use that passion to drive you forward. Play around with creative ideas that you want to work on. All right. apply those ideas, but it's always a choice in what you use and what you don't use. You know, if it brings you peace and allows you to walk away from things that kind of keep you stuck in your head, take a moment to reflect and see if you're open to that change. And I feel like that's going to allow you to manifest more of the Queen of Wands confident energy, but instead of being like in reverse, it's going to be more about being stable, owning your creations, owning who you are as a person. So take that how that resonates. But a lot of it starts with taking that action and then going back and reflecting, what can I change? What can I do? How's this moving? All right. Everything wants to come out. All right. Lone wolf. Let the pack doubt you. Sovereignty is standing firm in your truth, even if you stand alone. And I feel like that's about you rebuilding some kind of confidence. And maybe that's what you're really trying to do right here, is rebuild that confidence. We have feral focus. Once you become unstoppable, get crystal clear on what you want and refuse to be seduced by anything that dilutes it. And I love it. And I feel like that's kind of this energy right here, this magician. Get very clear on what you want and who you want to be. Sorry, I just ate pizza. Feel to heal. The wound that you refuse to feel is the wound that refuses to heal, but pain buried alive never dies. So whatever it is that you're needing to heal, like, take that time to do it. And I feel like that's kind of that tenderness and that reflect. We have storm tamer. Your relationship with chaos is evolving. You don't just survive storms, you alchemize them, turn them into opportunities to transform. You know, use that fire that's in your belly or that anger and use that as a, I feel like trampoline is the word I want to use, and let it bounce you into what you need to. And then we have unfinished karma on the bottom. You think you're done, but your energy is still circling the lesson you refuse to fully claim. So I think once you start to take action and start reflecting and maybe take a little bit more time to be tender with yourself, that's what kind of breaks up that energy. All right, Saggies, that's what I have for you. You guys have a great day. Thanks.